The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I seek leave to move a motion without notice on the death of the King of Tonga, King George Tupou V.
Is there any objection to that course of action being followed? There is none. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I move that this House expresses its sadness at the passing of the King of Tonga, King George Tupou V. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Government and the people of New Zealand, I take this opportunity to extend our sympathy to the royal family, government and people of Tonga on the passing of His Majesty King George Tupou V on Sunday evening in Hong Kong, aged 63. King George had close ties to this country. He was educated at King's College, had close friends in New Zealand and was a regular visitor here. King George came to the throne upon the death of his father in 2006, and in the brief 6 years of his rule, Tonga has undergone a quite remarkable transition to democracy. That King George was the architect of that transition is even more remarkable. 3 days before his coronation, he announced that he would relinquish most of his powers and be guided by his Prime Minister. Those familiar with the sometimes turbulent events in Tonga around the time will recall King George's decision to appoint a commoner, Feleti Saveli, to the office of Prime Minister with a clear mandate to chart a course to democracy. That course passed a critical milestone in November 2010 with the holding of democratic elections and the appointment of a Prime Minister based upon the confidence of the Parliament. While there has been some speed wobbles along the way, the fact that such a dramatic transition could occur with the unambiguous support of the monarch makes this one of the most unusual stories of constitutional change in recent times. I had the pleasure of enjoying the late King's hospitality in Tonga in my first year as Prime Minister and of meeting him in New Zealand subsequently. He was a unique character, extremely well educated, very widely read, and with strong views that he expressed with eloquence and force. In my dealings with him, the sense of the special relationship that exists between New Zealand and Tonga was always present. The passing of King George will cast a long shadow over Tonga, with the role and the powers of the monarchy were irreversibly altered in his time on the throne. The deep respect and affection for the monarchy and for King George personally have remained unchanged. I telephoned Prime Minister Tui Vakano yesterday to convey the sympathy of the Government and people of New Zealand, and we will of course be appropriately represented at His Majesty's funeral. Today we also remember that the over 50,000 New Zealanders who identify with their Tongan roots will be greatly saddened by the loss of King George. In the space of 6 short years, the face of a small Pacific nation has been changed forever for the better. The evolving democracy that is Tonga will be King George's enduring legacy.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. The Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would join with the Government and all the members